What's up guys, it's here by Quadji, and welcome back to another big baller video on Call of Duty Black Ops 6 multiplayer. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my top 10 fastest killing / most meta loadouts to use within BO6 multiplayer right before the Season 5 update. We're only a couple weeks away, and at this point, they're not going to be doing any more weapon balancing, so these are going to be the prime meta loadouts, especially with that new TR2 SMG conversion kit in-game. And you guys can definitely trust my opinion when it comes to, dissecting these loadouts, because I'm almost level 1000, man. I put a lot of playtime. I'm like 5 levels away, so I've got the experience. And to add on, I also got a whole bunch of nukes. I've lost count at this point. It's probably around like 500 or 600, so you guys know I have the building skills and the intellect to build these guns correctly. So you guys excited to see my most prime guns here in Black Ops 6 currently, and use them for yourselves? Then make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe and turn on those post notifications. On this channel, I upload high quality Call of Duty gameplays that you guys can enjoy, and I'll be going crazy when Black Ops 7 drops, and especially when that beta drops, probably in September or October or something. So definitely stick around to the channel. But let's go ahead and start things off though. The first gun here, and this is one of my most favorite ARs in the game, and that's gonna be the FFAR 1. Has a really fast fire rate, and it's super mobile as an SMG AR hybrid. And just so you guys know, I'll be giving you guys a 5 attachment build and an 8 attachment build for every gun on this list. So let's start things off here. Muzzle-wise, we got the good old suppressor to keep us off the minimap every time we shoot, allowing us to streak up. However, if you have trouble controlling this gun because the recoil can be kind of on the high end, you can put on the compensator or the porta compensator to lower that vertical recoil, so that you can be more accurate with this gun. Barrel-wise, you gotta put on the long barrel for the FFAR 1. It maximizes the damage range of this gun perfectly so that it can be more of an AR with that SMG-like properties. Magazine-wise, I recommend the extended mag 1 just to have 15 extra rounds for multiple opponents. Rear grip-wise, you got the ergonomic grip for not only omni-movement boost as well as extra ADS speed to make the gun even more snappy. However, you're not somebody that slides around a lot, dives, or anything, you don't really use the movement much, I would just say the quick draw grip is probably going to be your favorite, or even the commando grip, but that's up to you at that point. And for our fire mod here, we got the recoil springs to give us the most amount of recoil control possible and allow this gun to really shine. And thus, with these 5 attachments on the FFAR 1, you're going to be feeling very precise. As you can see, it doesn't have that much recoil at all. At farther ranges, might be a little bit harder to control, but it does have that crazy fast kind of kill and is super reliable. And I think you're going to be loving this weapon if you give it a chance. However, this is only the build with 5 attachments. I love running the Gunfighter wildcard, which allows me to add 3 more attachments. And thus, here's our 8 attachment build for the FFAR 1, adding on the attachments of the underbarrel of the Ranger foregrip for extra recoil control and extra movement, the stock of the light stock for crazy movement, and these strike blades for better ADS accuracy. And thus, with this build, you're going to be zooming around the map with these additions, and you're really going to be able to feel the SMG AR hybrid properties even better. And like I said, you can be even more accurate with a compensator. Really is one of the best rushing guns in the game. Before moving on to the other 9 guns that I got for you guys, let me talk about my general loadout that I use on every single loadout in this game. So the secondary is always going to be the Strider 22 pistol. And it's mostly with the 3-round burst mod, which you get in the fire mod. If you don't have it, you go over to the challenges tab, go over to the armory, and then you can unlock this burst mod for a certain amount of XP. For the rest of the attachments, it's the microflex, the monolithic suppressor, the ergonomic grip, and the Strike laser. This is the most reliable burst pistol in the game. Best secondary in my eyes. For our tactical, we got the stim shot to heal fast and rush around more, the lethal the Semtex to finish off any pesky kills or get people off points. We would upgrade a scrambler to disable any annoying spring mines or blast traps in the vicinity, and we get extra score on top of the scrambler to allow us to do that. And then we get the red perks of Scavenger, Hunter's Instinct, and perk 3 is either Slipstream or Double Time. Double Time I technically combine mostly with SMGs, but sometimes I just use Slipstream because it's such a great perk for movement. And then we have the Enforcer specialty to give us healing properties and be even more rush happy with red perks. And when it comes to the wildcard, of course, if you're running the 8 attachment build, you got to run Gunfighter. But if I'm only running a 5 attachment build, perk Greed is going to be the wild card, giving me a 4th perk, and that usually ends up being Flag Jacket, so I can survive against, pesky grenades or whatever the case is. But of course, you use whatever perk combos you want, but that's just how I rock all my builds, as you guys can see here. Hardly any difference. But moving on now to the second gun here today, we got the LC10 SMG. I don't think it's anything too spectacular, but with rapid fire on this gun, it definitely feels very melty, and a lot of people complain about this gun. If you're good at hitting headshots, this gun is a danger. Let's go ahead and give you guys the build. Muzzle-wise, we're gonna go ahead and put on the suppressor to keep us off the minimap. Underbarrel-wise, I really like the range of foregrip for that recoil control, but also extra movement speed. Magazine, we got the extended mag 2 for that nice little 55 round drum mag. If you feel like it makes you too sluggish though, put on the extended mag 1. Rear grip is of course gonna be the ergonomic. That's just pretty much gonna be my default attachment at this point. And then the fire mod is the one that really makes the LC10 overpowered, and that's rapid fire, giving us a faster fire rate and thus a faster time to kill. And with these 5 attachments on the LC10, once again, you're an SMG, so you're pretty much speedy, but you're also super powerful. You got really great recoil control, even with rapid fire. It's basically just like a buffed up PP919. So you like the PP919, this is basically the replacement. It's way better. But of course, as with previous guns, we could always make this gun even more powerful with 3 additional attachments. And thus, here's my 8 attachment build for the LC10, adding on the attachments of the barrel, the long barrel for maximized damage range, the stock, the no stock for crazy movement, and the laser, the straight lock laser for better ADS accuracy. And the long barrel does make a decent difference on the LC10. You're able to body people at farther ranges, and thus have an even faster time to kill. This gun is just easy mode in my opinion. Moving on to our third gun now, we got the C9 SMG, or the MP5. Has very amazing damage over range and is better than the Jackal just based off recoil and feel. Very fun to rush with. Let's show you guys the build. Muzzle wise, of course, we got that suppressor to stay out the minimap. Barrel is going to be the long barrel to maximize our damage range. On the barrel, I technically use the vertical foregrip more just to have even better recoil control. But if you want a little bit less recoil control, but a little bit more movement, you can put on the Ranger foregrip. Both are good, but I like being precise with this gun. Magazine's going to be extended mag 2, but you can always switch out to the extended mag 1 if you wish to do so. And the rear grip, of course, is the ergonomic grip, which allows us to be crazy with the movement. With these 5 attachments on the C9, I mean, it's just like the LC10, except without rapid fire. So it's kind of up to you. I just think this gun has a little bit more range potential, as long as you control the recoil, and I think it just feels nice overall. It's the MP5. It's usually pretty reliable in most Call of Duty games. And at this point, you guys know the drill. I love my 8 attachment builds. We added on the 3 attachments of the no stock for crazy movement, the straight lock laser for better ADS accuracy, and the recoil springs fire mod for even more recoil control, and thus the C9 is feeling even more snappy, more powerful than ever. Really love with the 8 attachment build. You'll love rushing with it. Moving on to the 4th gun now, we got the absolute 3-shot beast of the AK-74. It might be a 4-shot, but this thing has a crazy fast time to kill, hits really hard, and is only outclassed really by the FFAR and the ASVAL, which still makes it in a really good position. Let's go ahead and give you guys the build. Optic-wise, we're actually going to put on the Volsky Reflex. This gun's one major downside is its recoil, but with the reflex here, this Volsky Reflex, it helps lower your visual recoil, so the gun's a little bit more steady, at least in my opinion. Of course, you use whatever reflex you want, but I think this one helps the most. Muzzle-wise, we got the suppressor, of course, to out the minimap, but once again, just like the FFAR, if you can't handle the recoil of this gun, put on the compensator, the porta compensator, the gun will feel a lot more smoother for you to use. Underbarrel-wise, we got to put on the vertical foregrip. This gun kicks like crazy. Of course, you use the Ranger foregrip for extra movement, but I think you're going to want as much accuracy as possible for this gun. Magazine's going to be extended mag 1 for a nice little 40-round mag. And at this point, you guys know the rear grip. I don't really got to explain the ergonomic grip much anymore, but yeah, I love the AK, man. It's been a little bit since I've used it, but it still hits like a truck. It still beats on these opponents. And it'll make you seem like a hacker to random dudes on the internet, so you have to rock this beast, man. And when it comes to the 8 attachment build on the AK-74, we added on the long barrel for even more damage range to make this gun's fast time to kill even further, light stock for crazier movement, and I believe the recoil springs fire mod for even more accuracy to make this gun even more precise. So now you just are even more stronger, basically. You're more accurate, and like I said, if you want even more accuracy, put on a compensator instead of a suppressor, and this gun will be perfect for you. You can even try a rapid fire build, but I think the gun is better with better accuracy. Moving on next, we got one of the new competitive SMGs in the game, and that's going to be the marksman rifle, the TR2. The thing is, this is a marksman rifle, but you can turn it fully automatic into an SMG with the new fire mod that's available through one of the events recently. So it has the same firepower as the KSV SMG, which is pretty much my favorite SMG. It's just this gun's fire rate is a little bit more variable, so it slows down after you shoot it a bit, but it's really fun to use. I'll show you guys the build. So starting things off, you got to put on the fire mod of the TR2 CQB auto conversion, or this gun becomes absolutely useless, in my opinion, for you to use as an SMG. If you don't have this through the event, make sure you guys go through your challenges tab, and go into the armory section and unlock this attachment. Very nice. You can transform this gun completely. Muzzle-wise, you got the suppressor to stay out the minimap, but just like with previous guns, this gun does have a little bit of vertical recoil, so put on the compensator to the porta compensator, and the gun will feel a lot more smoother to you. On the barrel is going to be the Ranger foregrip for extra recoil control and movement speed to rush around the map a lot more fluidly. The magazine here is going to be the full auto extended mag, it's the only one available, and the rear grip, of course, is going to be the ergonomic grip, for me anyways. And when it comes to this TR2, man, it's just so fun to use. I don't know why, it just feels really, really easy. But like I said though, it kind of does kick a lot, so you can't really extend your range too much with it, but in the ranges that an SMG should be used, this thing shoots so fast, has crazy TTK, and is awesome. But you can even make it even more accurate with a compensator if you want to extend your range, so up to you. And of course, here's our 8 attachment build for the TR2, adding on the attachment of the optic for a little bit better sight, the stock of the light stock for crazy movement, and the straight lock laser for better ADS accuracy. And thus, you just get that additional movement, and it really does go a long way. Better visuals on the gun, you can be a little bit more accurate with a red dot sight instead of just having the iron sight or whatever, so it's just even more improved, a lot more fluid feeling in my eyes. I just love this SMG, secret SMG. Next up, we got a modern beast, and that's gonna be the Kilo 1-for-1. Really fun to rush with and super accurate. Overall, a super reliable gun and way better than the AMX 85. And to me, if you like the AMX 85, you'll like the Kilo a lot better. Let's go ahead and give you guys the class. Barrel-wise, we're gonna go ahead and put on this short barrel. Surprisingly, it's a 2-in-1 attachment. Not only does it give us jumping ADS speed and jumping sprint to fire speed to be even more snappy with this gun when using movement, but you also stay out the minimap every time you shoot, so it's kind of like a suppressor as well, so you get the 2-in-1, which is sweet. On the barrel is going to be the Ranger foregrip for extra recoil control as well as movement. Magazine here that I like is the extended mag 1. You get a 50-round mag with no downsides. Sign me up. Rear grip, of course, is going to be the ergonomic. And one of the best attachments used on this gun is the rapid fire mod, allowing this gun to have a faster fire rate, and thus a faster time to kill. And you'll be even more cracked out with this gun. So, in my opinion, the gun's already super accurate with just the Ranger foregrip, and you're able to rush around and just dominate with this gun. But of course, what's even better is an 8 attachment Kilo 1-for-1, and thus, we kind of changed our attachments around. We now have the muzzle of the suppressor because we took off the short barrel and replaced it with the reinforced barrel for extra damage range and bullet velocity. So not only do we have some mobility, but also some range to make this gun even more powerful. And we also gave ourselves the no stock for crazier movement, and the straight lock laser for better ADS accuracy. So basically, now you just have even more power with the same sort of mobility. The gun is kind of crazy, and if you ever wanted more accuracy, just take out the rapid fire, but the rapid fire really makes or breaks this gun. It gives it a competitive time to kill to kind of compete with SMGs, at least in my eyes. Next up, we're going to be talking about kind of an underrated gun nowadays, and that's going to be the SWAT 556, another marksman rifle. However, it's a conversion kit to turn it into the GRA from Modern Warfare 2019, and thus make it a fully automatic beast. Very similar to the TR2, but this time it's an AR. Really nice, still reliable, a little bit on the slow side, but if you're able to be patient with it, it'll reward you. So of course, starting things off, we got to put on the SWAT 556 GRA conversion. Without this, the burst form of this gun is okay, but this just makes it even better in my eyes. If you don't have this unlocked, go over to your challenges tab, go to the armory section, and unlock it for a certain amount of XP. Muzzle-wise, we got the suppressor to keep us off the minimap every time we shoot to allow us to streak up. On the barrel is going to be that vertical foregrip for maximum horizontal recoil control to allow the gun to be even crazier accurate. Magazine-wise, we got the full auto extended mag for a nice little 50-round mag. And rear grip-wise, we got the ergonomic grip for on-the-movement boost to make this gun crazy, which of course you guys already know I use. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've made a video on this gun, so it is about time that I should make a video on it, but as you can see, accurate, precise, just has a little bit of a slow ADS speed, but besides that, the gun just melts, and I definitely will be planning to use it in due time. And of course, we can rock 8 attachments on the GRA, giving ourselves an optic of the Kepler Microflex, the combat stock to allow us to kind of, be able to resist some flinch a little bit better, and then the straight lock laser. For this, you're basically just a little bit more competitive with that combat stock. You get a little bit more better, like, ADS movement speed, but also you're able to kind of shrug off shots a little bit better, which is nice because it's still a marksman rifle, so it still has a ton of flinch, which could also hurt you. Next up, we got the fastest killing SMG in the entire game, faster than the TR2, faster than the KSV, the Kompakt 92. I don't really need to make it any more of an introduction. You guys know this gun is beastly. Starting things off, we got the barrel of the integrated suppressor barrel. So just like the Kilo, there's another 2-in-1 attachment. Not only keeps us off the minimap every time we shoot, so comboing as a suppressor, but also combos as a reinforced barrel kinda with that bullet velocity and damage range, allowing us to extend our ranges further. So really nice. On the barrel wise, we gotta use the vertical foregrip. This gun has the worst kick in the entire game, so you want to keep it as accurate as hell. But if you want to use the Ranger foregrip, then I could go and say, you know, go ahead and use it, but I think you're going to want the accuracy personally. Magazine is going to be the Extended Mag 3, just to have a 60 round mag, but if you feel too slow with this, you can put on the Extended Mag 2 or the Extended Mag 1, but this gun has such a fast fire rate, you're going to want a lot of ammo on this weapon. Rear grip, of course, the ergonomic, and for our fire mod, we had to put on the recoil springs to give us extra accuracy. But of course, if you don't want to use the barrel, you could put on the muzzle of a compensator to make this gun even more accurate. It's just nice to have kind of like a 6 attachment build. You can have a suppressor, reinforced barrel, and the gun is relatively accurate with just having the vertical foregrip and the recoil spring. So I really like how this feels as a 5 attachment build, technically a 6 attachment build, but yeah, really nice and reliable. But of course, we can make this gun even nastier with 3 additional attachments. And thus, just like with the Kilo, we took off the barrel and put on the long barrel, because the long barrel gives you crazy damage range compared to that integrated suppressor barrel. And then we put on the suppressor to stay out the medium op still. And then we got the stock and the no stock for crazy movement, and the Strelok laser for better ADS accuracy. What you can see here is some amazing movement once again. We just be beasting, we be shredding, and like I said, if you want extra accuracy, you can just take out the suppressor and put on a compensator, and the gun will be even nastier. But for SMG ranges, I think it's viable. It's really sweet. And now moving onwards, we got one of the best ARs in the game. I would say it's my favorite AR in the game. Very much so competitive with the XM4 and the FFAR, but that's going to be the CR56 AMAX. This thing is just a powerhouse, has no recoil. With the right build, you'll love it even more. So muzzle-wise, we got the suppressor to stay out the minimap every time we shoot to allow it to streak up. Underbarrel here is going to be the vertical foregrip, or you can even just put on the Ranger foregrip. I think it's even nicer with the Ranger. I'm going to do that actually. Magazine here is going to be the Extended Mag 1 for a nice little 45 round mag. Rear grip here is going to be the ergonomic grip for on-movement boost. And then of course we got the recoil springs fire mod to allow us to have crazier accuracy. With just these 5 attachments, the AMAX is legit a game over to anybody that, you know, is in your way, bro. Legit game over. Let's look how accurate it is, bro. Clean iron sights, just an impeccable weapon overall. And then here's our 8 attachment build for the CR56 AMAX, adding on the barrel of the reinforced barrel for extra damage range and bullet velocity. And you can put on the vertical foregrip of the Ranger, of course. And then we got the stock of the balance stock and the Strelok laser to allow us to just body more. So just some nice implementations for making the gun even more powerful, especially that reinforced barrel. This allows this gun to melt a little bit faster, which is always sweet to see. And then last, but definitely not least, we got my favorite SMG still in the entire game, my favorite gun in the game, the KSV. It might not have as fast as a TTK as the Kompakt, but still close enough that it's still pretty comparable, and it rushes around, is a lot more controllable. So I just really love the KSV. It's reliable. Muzzle-wise, we got the suppressor. Barrel, we got the long barrel for crazy damage range. Underbarrel, we got the vertical foregrip, but of course you're free to switch to the Ranger if you want. Magazines for the Extended Mag 2, but you could also switch to the Extended Mag 1 if you want. And the rear grip, of course, is the ergonomic. This is one of my favorite attachments in the game. And thus, with these 5 attachments, the KSV is a danger. I mean, what else can I really say? There's really nothing else to be said about this gun. Whenever I make a video on it, I always gotta explain that it just shreds, man, really. And then for our 8 attachment build here, we got the beautiful KSV adding on the stock of the balance stock, the Strelok laser, and the recoil springs, making the gun even more mobile, accurate, and just overall even more powerful. Even though I'm pretty happy with just the 5 attachment build, these 8 attachments really amplify the gun further. But yeah, that's pretty much it here. Let me know how you guys feel about the 8 builds that I showed you guys. Not 8 builds, I meant 10 builds. I was thinking about the 8 attachments, of course, but these guns are powerhouses, and they are some of my most reliable weapons. And of course, there's other guns that could have been on this list, like the XM4 and many others. It's just, you know, the video would be way too long at that point. Unless you guys would watch a 40 gun sort of loadout video. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the year or something, but thank you guys for the love and support on the BO6 videos. If you guys are looking forward to more content, definitely stay subscribed to this channel. But if you guys want to see me slay out on Warzone, subscribe to More Hero. I slay out on Warzone over there. You know, we're finally getting high kills over there. You guys can also follow me over my Twitch at twitch.tv/themarkofahero. See my gameplays live. Or if you guys want to watch YouTube live streams, I live stream over on my Hero Shorts channel. And I also post short form content there, as well as posting short form content on my TikTok at tiktok.com/themarkofahero. What are your top 10 guns that you guys would personally put on this list? And what are some of your favorite loadouts, either from my list or your own personal builds? Very curious to hear. But thank you guys for love. Wish you guys have a great weekend. Don't let little ballers get in the way. And just keep being awesome. I love you all.